yeah, Black Sun in the Hizzle, all the shizzle dizzle. We got an excellent show here today. It's Friday. It's Friday. Happy Friday to everyone. We're gonna have Rule Breaker joining us real soon, real soon. Now, I know I posted that she'll be on here every Friday. Not every Friday. She's still going to school, still working some things out. So she will let us know when she's able to join, but she'll definitely be able to join us tonight. But like I said, as a weekly thing, don't know if we're gonna do that yet. Like I said, based on her schedule. So shout out to y'all. Yeah, let's get this thing started. So real quick, I want to touch on several things. Several things I want to touch on. Y'all check out Wrestling Wednesday. Man, y'all check that show out. You either man, shout out to Ben Cat, Trevor at MD20. You're either gonna really, really like that show, or you're gonna really. It's something y'all got. Like I said, check it out. I will say this: there's a lot of viewer discretion is advised. Let me just say that. So, well put together show. Very, very, very informative. Very, very, very. It was entertaining. It had its moments where just like you're like, oh, so uh, yeah, very very shocking show, man. Yeah, that right there is well put together by Van Cat, and it's something y'all gotta check out. Also, let's see, check out the show me and MD did yesterday, which is a very good show. We're gonna be doing that weekly, the arena abroad, and then the arena this week. So, what's going to happen with arena this week? I'm gonna let MD take charge. That's going to be his show because he's going to do more domestic, and then I'll come back um, on which I'll still need MD's assistance. But he be up on the politics. So yeah, then we'll do me and him will do um, arena brought together. Like I said, we deal with four articles and I got to get those articles together so we have it ready for next week. And what MD and I do is what we do is we exchange articles, and we look at a bunch of articles and we decide, oh yeah, let's do this one, let's do that one. So um, that's where we're headed with that one. So yeah, shout out to MD, yes sir. And then we got tomorrow, which is Saturday. He's going to do a presentation. I believe it's volume I want to say volume 4. So he's gonna, man, every time he does those, man, it's good information, great information. And yeah, it's something you guys definitely don't want to miss. Let me see if my mic is too loud because I didn't do a mic check, but turn it down slightly, and then let's turn this music down slightly to a 6. Let's turn it down to a 6. Okay. Yeah, so that's what we're looking at this week. Um, like I said, we got new shows, new lineups, and hopefully, we can get Asar and Colin here. Hope we can get it because I know he's driving. Pretty soon he's gonna want to do some shows. So, hey, Asar, if you're out there, man, we want to welcome you to the arena and be ready to do a show, man, because I know you got a wealth of information. Um, man, and I'm glad that him and I were able to debate each other. We had a very fun topic. It was Jimi Hendrix versus Tony Iommi, who is the greatest guitarist. Fun debate, never has never been done in history. So yeah, shout out to Asar. So yeah, I want to definitely see Asar come on the arena, man, and yeah, grace us with his presence, man. So shout out to Asar. So real quick, so what else did I want to address? something else I wanted to address. So yeah, like I said, the arena abroad is very, very interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. And like I said, that was the first show, so we're gonna fill it out. But it looks like we're gonna definitely come up with a smorgasbord of articles. Smorgasbord of articles. Like I said, uh, I'll get in touch with MD and make sure if he's cool with some of the articles that I pulled. Because like I said, I pulled. We had discussed some things on the last show, and because we didn't pull the articles, like somebody in the chat was like, "Oh, what about this and that and this?" So shout out to E Bizzle, he was getting into it, but it was like, well, I want to make sure we get the article so that everybody is not only well read on the article, but we already formulate an opinion and already have like how we want to make a stance on it. Just like okay, like the last show we did was on Tunisia. We both looked at articles and I was looking at it, and the more I read it, the more I was like, ugh. I could see the whole migrant immigration stance, and I already knew how MD was going to come with it. And me myself, even though I heard it from Nation Mom, I was just like, ugh. So reading the articles, it gives us a chance to not only know what's going on, but to kind of formulate an opinion. And like I said, I couldn't really form one, and I knew how MD was going to come, and I was just like, you know what, But now, however, I will be able to, like I said, and then there's some more issues dealing with Ukraine that we got for now. We were dealing with the, like I said, the drone. If you guys know in the news situation with the drone and the jet and that little conflict over the Crimea Sea. Good, 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 good article, but it actually was leading off into some other things that I wanted to address, but because we didn't have the articles, we decided we're gonna press on that next the arena abroad. So y'all stay tuned for that. So usually I think what's gonna happen is 6:30 is gonna be the basically the I know today I started at 7. And I think Rule Break, I told her 7:30. I'm not sure, but I told her because she's in Louisiana, she's on Central Time, so I had to adjust according to that. That's why I said this show's not necessarily going to be every Friday, only because we have to adjust to the time, and then we have to adjust to her schedule. So, and then man, we got to come up with topics. So we'll fill that out. We'll see. So, like I said, I know I said Rule Breaker is back every Friday. She's back, but not necessarily every Friday. So we're going to work with that. We're going to, we're going to kind of ease into this and see based on her schedule how things work out. But y'all know MD is going to be steady on Saturday 6:30. Now, Nature Mom is the only show, well, besides Rule Breaker, that we're not going to have around 6:30 because, as y'all know, she stays in Qatar. So her being in Qatar, we have to do early morning shows. So we're going to do early morning shows with Nature Mom, and we do have that scheduled for at Sunday at 11. Sunday at 11 because now with the time change, it's adjusted. So instead of 10, we're going to do 11. So yeah, 11 a.m. Eastern my time. So you guys adjust according to your time zones. And yeah, shout out to Nature Mom and shout out to I know Poetic Empress and all them. They get up early in England because they're 5 hours ahead. So shout out to everybody in that time zone. Nigeria, Cameroon, Poland, England, and Qatar. I believe they're all on the same time zone. I think. Or I'm not sure if maybe England and Qatar are maybe an hour apart. I don't know, but Yeah, shout out to everybody. So yeah, like I said, we'll be doing that this Sunday, and then Mondays we're going to change the shows on Mondays to. We're just going to have an open forum on Mondays, and let's see, Tuesdays we will have wrestling. I mean, I'm sorry, wrestling Wednesdays is on Wednesdays. Tuesday we're going to have the Arena Weekly or the Arena. I forgot the name of the show, but that, like I said, that will be MD's baby right there. That's going to be MD's show. He's going to basically, we're going to get him uh, the intro and everything, maybe intro, outro. We're going to get him everything he needs to get set up. Hopefully, I believe Venkat is working on that. So we're going to get everything. That's going to be Venkat, all Venkat right there. And, he's going to be doing articles. Like I said, it's similar to what him and I are doing on Thursdays, except it's dealing more just within America. But as y'all know, sometimes the American stuff can kind of interact with the international stuff. So yeah, a lot of times I'll spin off that on the arena abroad, and then uh, touch on touch on it from an international point of view. So yeah, shout out to Venkat. Yeah, shout out to and like I said, y'all stay tuned on because sometimes I do truck shows, but I don't announce those. I just, like I said, sometimes I'll be driving and boom, something will come to me. Like I might come across an article, I might come across either an article. Okay, let's see. Let me send her a link. Calling in 30. Okay, I'll just tell her. Just hit the link. Just hit the link. Oh, link on your email. Email. Hold on, y'all. Email when you are ready. Okay, yeah. So shout out, man. Shout out. So yeah, I sent her another thing. I think she's en route. She's en route right now. Like I said, she's still going to school and everything. She's gonna get her master's. So shout out to Rule Breaker. All right, y'all. Hey. Shout out Free Spirit. Shout out Free Spirit. Hey, yeah, we just waiting on Rule Breaker to get here. Oh shit, almost dropped the light there. Dang. Oof. Don't want that to happen. Yeah, she'll be here shortly. What's going on, Free Spirit? What's going on? Shout out to you, Free Spirit. Shout out. Free Spirit informed me about a debate that just went down on Senator TV. It was Chris Harris versus Tazaria. Two of my favorite debaters, but two different styles and two different. It's like Chris is a well scholar, thorough, peer review type of dude on one hand, and then you got the other hand. Tazaria is more. He's more. He's got a lot of charisma, a lot of yeah, just a lot of charisma. So uh, two different interesting paradigms there. Shout out to both of those debaters. However, um, you got somebody like Chris who's doing research and got references and got peer reviewed. Yeah. Let me just say it. But I already knew that was going to happen. Chris beat the brakes off to Zarya. We're worth the price of admission. See, when you're dealing with Chris, you're dealing with scholarship versus a belief system. Now, in order for belief systems to prosper, you have to have a lot of charisma, a lot of charisma, a lot of what's the other word I'm looking for besides charisma? But Tazaria has that. You know what I'm saying? Uh, charismatic personality, good speaker, and all that. So you need that to kind of boost religion because you can't, you can't cross reference religion. You can't really. That's why I like said, man, those I think Charm. Yeah, charm. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Charisma, charm. Those are the type of things you need to prop up religion because, like I said, you really doesn't have anything concrete. And so I think we're watching a new era on Signator TV, man, because, like I said, if Chris was able to beat down Tazaria like that, which, like I said, Tazaria come from the era of SETIs, the Unks, the where it was all about charisma and speaking and projecting. Like you have your polites, you have Tazariats, you have your Uncle Gex, you have your um, Saracen Setis, you have your those are all people that project and speak with charm and charisma. And unfortunately, Chris is bringing a whole new era. He's bringing in the era of straight scholarship. He don't. You can tell Chris ain't. He don't even care about them charisma. He don't care if you like him. He's gonna bring the information, and that just trumps that. That's gonna trump every time. Scholarship is just gonna trump every time, and so I think we're witnessing a whole new era. But shout out to both of those Bay Leaders, man. Shout out to Senator TV. But like I said, I kind of knew that was going to happen, Free Spirit. I kind of knew that was going to happen. So it is what it is. So yeah, um, you know, so it is what it is. So I don't know how, anytime you're ushering in a whole new era, I don't know, things just, I mean, when you're ushering in a whole new era, just things change. And then it seemed like when things change really fast. And it's funny because in that Tunisia situation, I don't know how because Tunisia has kind of been, most like theocratic countries, they've kind of been not isolated, but not really seen as a, you got your countries like the U.S., France, England. You got your, uh, I want to call like mainstream tourist countries, and then you got your just countries like Cuba or like Argentina, Tunisia. You have your countries as it is there. I mean, you got different levels, and really Tunisia is just like as MD was saying, um, a feeding port for those people going into Southern Europe. Spain, Italy, Greece, France, and all that. I mean, basically how the migrants pour in. So Tunisia was a pouring state for that, and so now Tunisia's economy is unable to handle the heavy migration, and so being that Tunisia um, is not a heavy economical country like that, they're not going to be able to hold and sustain economically all those people because you know a lot of times countries like that they maintain a certain populace and the system is just designed around that, and so that's why by the government there is such a pushback because uh, you have people, Arabs. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, y'all. You have Arabs there that've been there for, they set up their government. And now some of y'all might be like, well, it's Africa, but North Africa, you have is dominated by Arabs, whether it be Morocco, Libya, Tunisia, Egypt. Um, what other northern African city? But those that I just mentioned are predominantly dominated by Muslims, and not only Muslims, but a lot of them lean towards theocracy. And being that you have a theocratic government like that, it almost uh, is designed to just maintain that population and for I guess for a number of people being born, there's this number of people who pass away, but meaning that they're culture and their government and all that is designed to uh, cater to those people, right? And so when you have migrants coming in, even though who's to say those migrants aren't Muslims themselves, but they made it known that they don't want to uh, deplete or even dilute their Arab population. Basically, they don't want black Africans coming in and um, weighing down their economy and switching up their politics. So yeah, the president made a very, he made a outright just people say yeah outright racist statement like we don't want Africans taking over and coming in. Basically, like I said, with the economics, the politics, everything. So Tunisia is getting a lot of heat right now. So let me text because I don't know if let me see. I don't know if Kaya did. Okay, I think she's still on the road. Checking now. Okay, y'all, she's coming right now. So checking now. Walking in the door. Okay, okay, cool. All right, y'all. She'll be here shortly. She's like I said, she was en route to the house. So yeah, she'll be joining us shortly. So yeah, Free Spirit. Yeah, she said it was a great debate. Like I said, I already knew the outcome. Like I said, when you put um, somebody who is a biblical debater who depends on charm and charisma and just being a good speaker, as opposed to somebody who is more 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 peer reviewed, more like based on research, yeah, it's going to be kind of lopsided. So but ah, what can I say? It is what it is, and pretty soon, being you have like your Chris Harris's over there at Sonator TV, and you have Dome over there too, who's more political. You guys are going to see a shift change. You guys are going to see a shift change within the type of debates because, like I said, we're in that era now where religion is kind of we've done that. We've done the religion for almost. I want to say I've been on YouTube since 2008. When did Barack Obama get elected? 2008. So a little bit before Barack Obama is how long I've been on YouTube. 2007, 2006, 2007. And so, yeah, that's how long they've been doing religious debates. Now, even though there's different generations, like, I'm almost 50, and then you have 40, 30, 20 younger people coming in. Uh, I guess you can kind of keep that going with the different generations who don't know. But when you got somebody like Chris Harris coming in and somebody like Domo coming in and then you've had like people in the past, like on SVDL, like Taz come in and bringing in that whole different paradigm. Then it's basically gonna make your religious debates kind of obsolete. So your Islam, your Hebrew Israelite, your Christianity, all that becomes obsolete. And eventually, what happens with that, when the religion goes, that means the whole Kemetic uh, sciences go too, because your Kemetic sciences are basically religion. Your African spirituality, you know, when they say Kemetic science, that's just a fancy word of saying Kemetic religion. I don't know why they call it a science because it's a belief system. And so, unfortunately, like your Chris's, your schemes, your the ones who go after the religion. Unfortunately, when the religion goes, their pursuit. going after religion goes also. That's why when people ask me, well, you're an atheist. Like, sir, you're an atheist. And I'm like, yeah, okay, and because I'm not trying to be buried. When religion gets buried, all that gets buried with it. So heed my warning to Chris Harris is out there and to all those people who go after the comedic sciences, even your Uncle Kex. When you go after that, even to your Lexus, when you go after that, when you bury the religion, you no longer have something to point to. And by you destroying the Abrahamic religions, you basically, that if that's your whole goal, like, okay, if I'm hell seeking, right? I'm hell seeking. My mission is to destroy Count Dracula. Black Tempest Count Dracula. What up, Ebizzle? Once you destroy Dracula, then Mr. Helsinki's out of work, ain't he? If you're a vampire hunter, you hunt down all the vampires. There's no vampires left. You gotta find a different line of work. So, um, you know, we kind of foresaw that with the whole season 4 of SVDL when you had like I forgot the sister's name, Moonflower, yeah, Holly. Um, when a lot of the sisters came in, they brought a whole different paradigm because you had a whole slew of people who weren't trying to hear all that religion stuff and bring in the whole new paradigm of what's. I mean, it's just a natural progression, just a natural progression. And so, yeah, with that, y'all gonna see a new paradigm, and that paradigm, I would say, yeah, Chris has officially kicked that paradigm off because, like I said, Sinetter TV is one of the biggest debate platforms, and being that Chris Harris dominated in that debate, that's going to shift the whole debate um, topics and everything. So yeah, y'all seen the last days of the religious debates here on the internet. It is what it is. All right, y'all. So yeah, we waiting on nature. Melvin, what up? So what's up? Shout out to y'all, man. We're waiting on Rule Breaker to get here. She just walked in the door, so y'all give her a minute. So we just waiting on her to get here so we can um, have this discussion on prison reform. I think some of y'all might or might not have heard. I did a show with, I believe it was MD, and I was talking about prison reform, um, and I kind of got on the subject, but then it really didn't go in the direction I wanted to because I wanted to have a more solution orientated discussion, and um, we kind of discussed it, but it kind of went in the direction of So I guess what we have to do, and I should have done this before, but I'm gonna do it tonight, is really classify because you got different levels of people who have been convicted, different levels of inmates, and based on their crimes. So you got level 1 crime, well, level 1 crimes, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. I think that's how it works. 5 being the most intense, your murders and all that stuff. But then you have your less, um, you have a bunch of your nonviolent crimes, meaning you have like, your I wouldn't even count misdemeanors, but like your lower level felonies, your low level felonies. And so let's see what Ebizzle, author Demico Booth is a great resource as well. He's been convicted and spent many years behind the walls, but has great books out. Okay, I'm gonna have to check out uh, Demico Booth because yeah, this whole prison reform, it's interesting because when I look at your prison reform, like I said, you got to look at, funding. You got to look at Well, not only funny, but like I said, just getting back out in society and dealing with different types of professions. Different type of professions, and them looking at your criminal record. But the thing is when we have a workforce lacking in skills, lacking in, I don't know, and when it gets to the point, and this is, when we talked about the whole migrant thing with the migrant workers and all that stuff, when you have to source people from India, people from maybe Mexico, Canada, and all over to bring them here to do certain things, it seems like we should use the resources that we have here. Now, uh, the population of Americans being incarcerated is very high, and a lot of those are nonviolent offenses. So why not, you know, take your now? I know court systems they have what they call like the what they have. Oh, y'all give me a second. I'm trying to remember what they call it when you. Uh, it's been so long. When you go to court and you do it, you have an offense. First Offenders Act. That's what it's called. First Offenders Act. Now, the First Offenders Act allows you to go to court, and if you never had any prior felonies, they will allow you to plead First Offenders Act. I don't know how that works when you have multiple charges, but the First Offenders Act, what that does is allow you to. Okay, so you take the charge, right? And then you pay whatever fines, and I think they put you on probation. And if you complete that, then they take that off your record. First Offenders Act, they take that off your record. Now, so therefore, whatever crime you commit, so let's see what eBizzle says. eBizzle says, don't want to switch topic, but I only have a little more time before I leave. But what's your view on the international arrest warrant out for Vladimir Putin? Good question. Actually, we could talk about that because Blue Breaker's not here, so I'm gonna touch on that. eBizzle, since you ain't got that much time. Um, the international arrest warrant. eBizzle, do they not have an international arrest warrant for Cheney and Bush? It's just a gesture, man. It's a gesture. Um, if you're gonna have one for Vladimir Putin, then you need to have one for Joe Biden for blowing up the Nordic pipeline. See, I could talk about these things because I don't have no partnership with YouTube. I don't make money from YouTube. I make my money from truck driving. So therefore, then that's why I'm glad I'm gonna have other truck drivers on here who make money not off YouTube, so I can say stuff like that. Yeah, I think there should be a arrest warrant for Joe Biden for blowing up because uh, they refused to. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Sorry, I was having a hard time logging in, so I had to download Google Chrome to get
Okay,
one. And whew, and it's been crazy today. I ended up being a little bit longer on my at the office. S-
okay.
Um, but hi.
Welcome back. Welcome back, Will Baker. We ain't seen you in a while. We ain't seen you in a while. I'm glad you're here,
Yes.
man.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just been, dealing with just schooling and whatnot. But other than that, I'm doing really good. S-
Okay, great, great, great.
Busy.
So yeah, we were talking about. Now it's funny with the whole prison reform thing.
Yeah.
Because I was explaining to people, you have because automatically when they think of like people who are incarcerated, they always think of the worst. You know what I'm saying? The level fives and the level four and fives, and everybody's not like that. You have three levels of inmates that are all nonviolent.
Right. Right. Oh,
So
I would say that probably, realistically, I haven't looked up the statistics, but I know they're pretty high of nonviolent
Right.
um, that people get incarcerated for, and that's all part of systematic. And how, and the funny thing is there's been proven studies that a lot of people that are incarcerated, that they have ADD,
Right. Right. Okay.
disorder. And so they make it where certain medicine is available to certain communities and not other communities, because they need for that behavior to be up at a all-time high. And when we say behavioral, we say, I mean, if you can't concentrate longer than 10 minutes on an assignment, right?
Right.
And that's considered bad behavior because you're not following the task. You're not doing that task. But what happens if you can actually do more than one task at one time? You know, so moral of that story is that there's so many different things going on based on how we perceive the incarceration population to be, with the crime being violent crimes.
Right.
But in reality, it's all based on medical, it's all based on systematic, and how they have it set in place to
Right.
make it look like, they make it look like, oh, there's a behavior issue, or that most criminals are in this. And then you have to think of the population of people. A lot of
Right.
people of color, that's a high population of people that are incarcerated, which it's
Right.
known as 68% of the population is people of color, and that's all color.
Hi. Yeah.
Um,
It's really. Yeah.
so,
Oh.
so with that being said, is they do that in particularly, just once again, um, just to keep a certain population of people in the prison system. So if you automatically see, oh, a felon, or oh, a charge, you automatically think this is because of crime. I mean, because of not a violent crime.
The violent crime. Right.
Right. Do you want that violent criminal to be at your workplace, or these? And that's to continue to keep that certain population of people in certain areas of our workforce. So medical field, things like that, they don't want to have a high population of people of color working in these types of fields. And so that's why they coined them with incarceration rates and things like that.
But it was seen, uh, rule breaker, that especially in the medical field, especially after the whole C-19 situation, you have them a high level of migrants
Oh, yeah.
taking on a lot of different jobs, and it seemed like, yeah, if we have our own resource pool of people, especially the ones like, say, if you got nonviolent crime. I was explaining before you got on, Georgia and a lot of states have what they call the First Offenders Act.
Mhm,
You know,
mhm.
you commit
Your
you
first
commit
time.
a felony, right?
Mhm.
Which they should allow you, to you go through the probation, you pay off your fines, and then once you get off that, boom, it's like you never had a felony. Um, Maybe they should extend that for nonviolent crimes.
I agree. And not only that, but I feel like there's not enough resources out there to show people that have been a part of the judicial system how to go forward from that. So there
Right,
are
right,
people like, that they do these, they go to prison, they get out of prison, and they do really well,
right.
financially,
Absolutely.
they get good jobs and things like that. There's a huge high percentage of that, but there's
Right,
also a huge high percentage of people that aren't doing that. And so moving forward, what I feel like with prison reform is it's not just system based, but it's also showing people how to, or having the resources to show people how to go about things, moving forward.
right.
Right. So what do they call that? I can't think of the word, but it's basically like a breakthrough of something that was put in place for you not to move forward. I can't think of the word I'm trying to reach for here, but well,
Recidivism?
I may yeah.
No.
So
Well, it repeats. I think, yeah, well,
yeah, where it kind of repeats itself, but
it
instead
repeats.
having where your break, yeah, very high after the, yeah. So recidiv, exactly
Okay.
what Ebizzle is saying. I think I'm saying that
Yeah,
correctly.
that's right. Yeah.
It is. It's
Recidivism.
very high after getting out, and so um the the moral of that story is, what can we do to move forward? There are some certifications that they have so much in place that you can't get these certifications, like in the medical field, or
Mm.
managers of banks, or CEOs of different companies. But at the same time, you can still make really decent money with certain certifications and have a background. But a lot of people don't even know that those resources are available, and they're not going after them, you know
Right.
and so
Um,
I make this little joke, is that, people that don't have credit and don't realize the resources that they have available are actually the real Karens, the ones that
uh,
have the debt, and are just worried about, hey, having a car and paying a couple of bills. Um,
right.
but to be honest with you, and that's open to anybody. It's open to anybody, that understands what they have is actually a good thing. So
Okay. Ibizo has a question for you, rule breaker. Shit. Can you read that, or is that big enough?
yes. So am I familiar with, is it Miko Booth?
Yeah.
I haven't read the book on recidivism, but I have done some research that it's something like, every 6 beds, 4 of those beds will be that people return to prison. So I think it's 4 out of 6 beds. And it's just because they don't have the resources moving forward. So they 9 times out of, or 6 times out of, well, 4 out of 6, which is about 70% um, return,
Okay.
that return to the prison system. And it's because they don't have the resources moving forward, so they're going back to what they know, because we have to pay bills. We have to pay bills,
Right.
and like you said, a lot of these crimes aren't violent crimes, that are landing people back behind
Right.
prison walls. So it's kind of a vicious cycle. But I'm not familiar with D'Amico Booth. I'm curious to know more about that.
Yeah. I
Um,
believe.
Hold on, I have
Okay.
knocking. I'm so sorry.
What happened?
Hold on one second.
Okay. No problem. No problem. Okay. I think rule breaker, her dog, is needing her attention. So y'all bear with it. But yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna have to look up. Okay. You all will like them. Very interesting reads. I'm gonna definitely check that out, Ebizzle. Because yeah, like I said, and I think I can add on to the whole prison reform thing because, like I said, it's a resource, and what taught me, what kind of revised my whole thinking about it, is the Wagner Group. The Wagner Group, but I mean, hell, they do this anytime during war. Is they offer the prisoners, of course, go into battle, and not only do they go into battle, but they offer them a stipend when everything's complete, and basically take the charges off, and now they're back into society, and that's why those guys fight so hard. I think it's PMC Wagner Group. Yeah, definitely a force to be reckoned with. I'm gonna talk more about the Wagner Group on the Arena Abroad. So, um, yeah, like I said, the head of the Wagner Group reports directly to Putin. He bypassed all the generals and talked straight to Putin. So yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna look up D'Amico Booth. I'm gonna start. In fact, what I'm gonna do is put him in my search so I can start looking up his work. What I will do that right now on my phone. D'Amico Booth, so I can check out his work. Uh, SE. Demi, D'Amico Booth. And guess what's coming up? Hold on, Booth. D'Amico Booth. Let's see what comes up. No, that's not it. D'Amico Booth. Okay, I'm gonna have to look on a different resource. But I got. Let me do a screenshot. Okay, so I got it locked in. Let's see. Why are so many black men in prison by D'Amico Boo? Okay, okay. I'm gonna definitely do that. Um, I'm gonna definitely look at, and that's just one of his works. So according to you, so he got several works. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely pull that up because yeah, like I said, the prison population is definitely a resource, and if you utilize that resource, like I said, uh, we could cut down on the demand for migration work. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I know some migration workers. I mean, some of them do like dentistry, doctor work, and all that. I get all that, but we need to tap into the resource here in America to produce more of those type of people. So on all levels, whether it be a doctor, dentist, or just I don't know, whatever it is, we need to tap into that home resource. Peace just clocked out. Oh man, peace MD man. Hey, whenever you get a chance, I know you driving. You can join us, man. We talking about prison reform, resources, and so forth. So if you're able to jump on, man, you can. You know, we just we're just generally just trying to brainstorm on, like I said, the resource aspect of it, and also uh, trying to come up with like some solutions. Like I said, because we're talking about you taught three levels of prisoners that are all nonviolent. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it don't till you get to like the level fours and level fives, you're dealing with like what most people generalize as your your stereotypical what criminal, your prototype, your murderers, your armed robbers, all that. Those are level fours and fives, but everybody three, two, and one, all those levels right there, a lot of them are a lot of those are not even considered like the what they call the seven deadly sins, which are all violent. All your seven deadlies are all violent crimes, and everything below that is like your probation, parole violation, get caught with a sack. You know what I'm saying? Just stuff I like to call nigga shit. But you know what I'm saying? But a lot of that stuff can be reformed. Like I said, if it's nonviolent crime, then you know All right, peace, E Bizzle, man. We see you tomorrow, man. Like I said, tomorrow we got MD show. We're gonna do volume four, so you don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss none of the volumes. In fact, y'all want to go back and watch all those volumes with MD. Shout out, man. Shout out to E Bizzle. And also catch us on Sunday at 11 a.m. on Sunday. And then, like I said, we're gonna have an open panel on Monday. But yeah, um, shout out to E Bizzle. But yeah, like I said, it's there's three levels. There's felonies out there. Let me tell y'all. There's non-violent felonies out there. Now, I know people feel iffy about like, embezzlement and, stealing and all that and fraud and, forgery and all that kind of stuff. Which are high level. Well, okay. What I call okay. Okay, so we'll make you back. You back. Okay.
Yeah, I was listening to what you were saying about the white collar crimes, basically.
Right.
So, frauds, forgeries, stealing. But
Right.
I mean, it's all based on what we define as stealing. I go a lot
Right.
deeper into everything just because my background is I was incarcerated for a white collar crime, and
Right.
now here I am getting my master's next month. I graduate from New York University with a
Right.
master's degree. So, you know,
Congratulations.
thank you. So, what I see it as when it comes to how we define what stealing is and whatnot, it's like, why is it? And this is, just a political debate. I'm not saying I have all the correct answers, but why can you tell me that this group of people can have this kind of money and this group of people cannot? From
Right.
a foundation that you put it in that foundation for those people to not have that kind of money, period. You put them into these neighborhoods. You don't put them into neighborhoods that provide good, schooling and good education for them to get good jobs.
Grocery
And
stores.
I'm going into speech pathology. I'm going to tell you right now, articulation, like we were saying the last show, a lot of these people, you can't expect someone to go into a working force that they can't even speak properly. They can't, I don't understand what what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you're saying. First off,
Right.
so nevertheless, I'm going to let you run my McDonald's. Even McDonald's, I'm not going to let you be the manager of my McDonald's. And I can't understand that you just said flipping burgers. You know? So,
Right.
what did you mean? No. Did you mean flipping burgers or what were you saying there? So, the whole point of that is that when it gets down to the fine lines of white collar crimes and stealing and whatnot, like I said,
Right.
it's based on a population of people that you're trying to keep suppressed. Now, this specific population of people built on a foundation of a population of people that we're supposed to have and a
Right.
population of people that we're not supposed to have. That same population of people was not supposed to read, not supposed to write. There's people like Frederick Douglass that people don't give enough credit to, because you take a population of people and tell them you cannot, you know, um, learn this language and learn that language, but then you learn how to read, you learn how to write, right?
Right.
Um, from a language you were not supposed to even learn, that you weren't even supposed to have. And then you expect that same person that you didn't even want them to know your language to run your companies. So what you do is you put them in prison. You keep them suppressed. You keep that population of people down. So then therefore you put them in the worst neighborhoods, the least educations, things like that. So it's so much more to it, but back to the prison reform and the type of crime that you commit. The type of crime that you commit does not exist. Okay? These crimes, killing, stealing, all of these things. How can you tell me that I stole something that you stole first?
Uh-oh.
Doesn't
See, now
really
you get into but they might say, I mean, I see where you're going
free
with that.
tree, free tree. We how can you put a value on a free item? So you're going to tell me that this tree that was cut down, all money is made out of paper, all of it.
All right.
Right? So you're going to take this free tree and you're going to tell me that you made this tree worth $1,000 and I stole this free tree that was cut down, made into $1,000. Doesn't
Right,
make
but it doesn't make well, but they might say, well, based on us putting value on that. So even though
but
you
why
might
can't
look at
but why can that group of our population of people put value on something and it has to be that? There always has to be a yes and a right, a yes and a no to anything. So you can
yeah,
take
but kind of, I mean, a lot of people have fought. Like when you talk about the monetary system, like let me give you an example. Like, do you remember Muammar Gaddafi?
I don't know.
Okay, so Muammar Gaddafi was the leader of Libya. No, Libya. I'm sorry, Libya.
Okay.
And he wanted to move away from the
Currency.
currency.
The British call it, yes, it was the British currency, or the what did they call it? The pound. The
Right,
pound.
the
Way
pound, right,
was created way back when. But the thing is it still was derived from a free entity. It's
yeah,
all
but what,
copper, nickel, silver. It's all something made of the earth, and you're putting value to it. So it's a group of people that are controlling this entity, this free product of the earth, and they're putting a value on it. But what makes that value, what makes it set in stone? So you could take perfect example, the president of the United States, right, of the most
hmm
powerful country in the world. The United States is considered the most powerful country in the world. It just
hmm
is. So you can take that same president, then you can take Kim, or what's the guy from North Korea? What's the
Kim
president?
Jong Un,
Kim
Kim
Jong.
Jong Un.
All right. So you can take these two guys, put them in a room, right? And you can take
Hmm
a dollar bill and you can, and Biden himself can say this dollar is more powerful than your currency. And Kim Young Jin, I can't say his name right, can say, no, it's not. And he would be right. And Biden would be right. Because there is not a yes and no, just because these are two powerful entities, right? Whoever follows Kim Jong-un and whoever follows Biden is going to say, yes, it is more powerful. But on the contrary, whoever follows this president Kim Jong-un is going to say, yes, no, it's not more powerful than our currency. So it's all based on someone else's mind of what they think is a yes and no thing. Me personally, I don't feel like I stole anything because I did not write that rule. Notice my name. I'm rule breaker. No one writes
Hmm.
rules but me. Period.
Right, but when you're dealing with, first of all, when you're dealing with the courts, they deal with a whole different language and system. You know, they deal with statuses, they deal with a whole lingo and language that, I mean, that's actually be a whole nother show when we talk about
It is
like just
because
how lawyers.
think of it like this. There's only 200,000 people. There's 20 million people in America with a master's degree. 20
Mhm.
million. Okay. As of next month, I will be one of 200,000
Okay.
of 20 million people that have been incarcerated with a master's degree.
So let me ask you this
This is the
question.
law, right? This is the rules that
Right.
people that are incarcerated shouldn't have, technically, statistically speaking, by these numbers, 20 million to 200,000 should not hold master's degrees.
Right, but the reason why we have the master's degrees, the bachelors, and the PhDs is to because when you have a field, everybody's in competition for that particular job or that particular industry. But we have so many other jobs that people are not tapping into. And part of my prison reform would be to, I guess, make those jobs known and available. Like, have you ever heard of tower maintenance, where people climb way up on the thing and a lot of people don't know those jobs pay well, but how do we get to those jobs? Like, how do we get to those jobs that are, because I don't want to say a job in high demand because everybody in the free world, everybody in their mama, everybody in incarceration are all going to be competing for the same job. So even
Right.
let's just say all the people with the masters, that just puts you above the people with no masters, but you're still competing with the people with the PhDs and you're competing with other people. So they'll look at you and say, aha, you're a convicted felon. Okay,
Exactly.
so we can eliminate you.
You just hit it.
But,
This is exactly, we just
but
eliminated.
why not?
It keeps that
But,
population suppressed. You just hit it on the head.
but why not create jobs where there's still other jobs out there
Mhm.
a lot of us don't know about? So why don't we? I guess the while a person's incarcerated, they would have time to look at all these because I'm sure there's other jobs out there that are in um, not only high demand but are rare jobs, meaning just not your typical like you said, you're doing a speech impediment. That would be a good field to go into.
Right. It's just
But
language is
doing, huh?
powerful. The only reason why I went into it, not so much for the not so much to support the foundation behind language because I don't
Right,
support the foundation, but we live in a system that I have to have this paperwork in order to do what I want to do. But
right,
the reason why I went into it is because language is so important. You don't really have to have the
right,
education to have the power of language to be successful, right?
right.
Like I said, is that you could be the manager of McDonald's without even a high. I think you have to have a high school diploma at least to work at McDonald's. But
But let me ask this question because you bring up McDonald's, but then you have jobs where people are outsourced to like India and they'd be like, oh, look, can I help you? La, 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 la. I don't
but
understand what you're
but
saying, but they
but
have jobs.
they have jobs, but they're getting paid very low. They're getting paid very low. So what I was saying by McDonald's pays pretty good. That's why I'm using
Okay.
McDonald's as a kind of like people look at McDonald's as being a lower, uh,
Uh huh.
technically a lower class
Well, it's
job.
supposed to be like a job for teenagers,
Yeah,
basically. You
speaking
know,
in
where
a
teenagers go
right?
get
But it's
work, right?
actually a good paying job and it has great resources. And as far as management goes, management for these jobs pay really, really well. But
Okay.
you can't be a manager of these jobs if you don't know how to speak correctly.
But you're But it seems like we're fighting for jobs that are eventually going to be automated.
Yes, yes, but maybe not necessarily, because I think that goes hand in hand with the prison reform. And like I said, that's a big business. It's a big money making business. They won't allow for it to be automated because then they can't eliminate those that have backgrounds. And backgrounds is what keeps the economy going. People that are incarcerated keeps money flowing. Like you said, you just hit it on the head. We can have this one job available, but we can eliminate these people and keep these people higher in position and power. It just is what is the same with
Okay,
immigrants.
but
Immigrants can come here and they can,
mhm.
go to school and things like that, and that's what puts them kind of in the running. But when it comes down to those two people that are sitting for that job that both have a
Mhm.
master's degree, one is an immigrant and one isn't. That what automatically eliminates that immigrant from having that power of position.
I see what you're saying,
Yeah.
and I think the problem though, Kaya, is because I think if it came down to it, I mean, they would pull the incarcerated. But I think what's going on is that you have more people than jobs. I think that's the bottom line.
I think it's not the resources. I think we have like places like Boys and Girls Club. We have places like YMCA and all these places that you can go non-profitly, and these kids can go and actually have resources available to them to learn about certain things. But the
No,
problem is
but
there's nothing like this for adults. Job
okay,
centers, yes, but it's not the same thing when you're teaching language, you're teaching life skills, you're teaching, hey, this might have happened, but here's a certification you can get, that they don't care about your background. They don't care about these things, but you can't get this job if you can't sound somewhat presentable, or you can't get this job if you don't know how to handle
no, I
your.
understand that. I do understand that. But what I'm saying is, we're still not eliminating. I understand about the speech part,
Mhm.
but we're not eliminating that you have more people than jobs. So
Okay.
for every job, you got so many people trying to get that one job.
Well, no, you have so many people, a specific population of people trying to get that one job.
What do you mean? I'm sorry. What do you mean?
So, to be honest with you, statistically speaking, it depends on what jobs we're talking about. So, like, you have more people of a certain type of race, race, color, creed, background, all of that,
Mhm.
that are going specifically for this job versus this job. So it's not necessarily that there's not enough jobs available. It's only a certain population of people that are going for these higher paying
Can you
jobs.
give me an example? Because I'm a little because I know like okay, let me give you an example.
Okay.
You
Like,
probably don't remember the coal mining era.
mhm.
A lot of those guys were convicted felons, but they had an industry that required a whole lot of people. Now the life expectancy wasn't too good, but it paid great. But eventually that industry died out. But what I'm saying is that you had that industry providing those jobs. And what I'm saying in this era now, we don't have those industries that are more that provide more jobs per se. I'm just saying I think the problem is
Do. I think we have a lot of those types of jobs available. Like you said, the life expectancy. Let me throw you in a coal mine. So I think we do have those jobs available, but I don't think that we have the good jobs available to the right population of people.
what do you mean good jobs?
Well, higher paying jobs, 100+ thousand dollars a year paying jobs. Those aren't available to everybody. Those are only available to certain population of people.
So then where do we I guess
Hold
where
on,
do we
someone
form
at my door. I'm so
oh
sorry.
that's fine, that's fine. No. I'll hold it down. I'll hold it down. It's no problem. So what I got to ask Rule Breaker is, like I said, during the coal mining industry, we had that industry that provided like almost damn near, and correct me if I'm wrong, MD, for the whole damn near Appalachian Mountains. And you had those people making good money. So um, being that we live in the age of automation, like, and then you got people outsourcing jobs, and this is why Oh man, I hate to get into politics right now, but when you talk about make America great again, uh, a lot of that meant bringing jobs back here to the U.S. You know, manufacturing cars and so forth. So, because y'all do know there was a lot of convicted felons working on those auto lines here. So when you have more jobs, people don't worry about the convicted felonies and so forth and so on. Let's see, example, car industry. Yep, when GM plant was shut down, it took jobs away from people and killed the economy in places like Pontiac, Michigan. That is so true. So yeah, I'm gonna ask. I know that's before Rule Breaker's time, but I'm gonna ask about that because, like I said, it provided a whole. Like I said, industries matter, a big deal. And so when you got whatever industries we got now, you got everybody competing for it. So they're gonna look for a reason to knock you out of the box to make sure they just get down to that one person because we're living in a day of ages. Everybody's competing, but like I said, during the coal mining era, during the game car industry when GM was around. You had your damn docks in California. You had industries that provided more jobs, and when you provide more jobs, then these industries tend to just look over the convicted felonies and all that. So I think the issue is with industries. You know, the lack of industries. You know, with the lack of industries, you have lack of jobs. The lack of jobs, of course, you have people who are going to create the recidivism rate and end up incarcerated again because they don't have these things to go to. Now, the coal mining, and I know MD will disagree with me, those coal mining people made good money, but because of the whole new era of gas, it eliminated the coal mining and that whole coal mining thing died. Now, why we shut down GM? I don't know because I guess Japanese cars are better, German cars are better, but Pontiac, Michigan was booming. Detroit and all that, it was booming, booming during that time industry, and you had plenty of people working. And when you have more people working, especially the black population, you had a lot of black middle class. You had less people, even during the war industry or like World War II, the Pontiac car industry, the coal mining, all these, you had less crimes, less population of people in the prison industry. So now you take away industries and less jobs, your prison population increases. And because there's no jobs to feed those prisoners when they get out, then it's just a circle effect. And like I said, most of these prisoners are that we're speaking of. We're trying to reform our people with non-violent felonies. So when we talk about these people who commit these certain type of crimes, it's not the ones that y'all thinking about. When we say non-violent crimes, all those damn TV shows and cop and robber and criminal shows, those are not who we're talking about because a lot of those TV shows they portray the murderer, the rapist, the armed robber, all that. That's what y'all see because y'all watch a lot of movies. Y'all don't see the nonviolent felonies, you know. Y'all don't see that. And because you guys only go by what you see on TV, you automatically put that broad brush on everybody. Oh, he must be a murderer. He must do this and that. Where a lot of it's, I can tell you right now, a lot of that is probation violation. You know, people being violated, can't pay their fines. They violated that kind of shit. And what I'm saying is that yeah, in order to solve that problem, you have to create these industries again. So we have to have these industries come back. We have to have whoever's running for office, whoever's you can't have reform without now and MD's going to love this. You got to have reparations for uh, well, that's a whole nother topic. But I'm saying you got to have these industries created. We have to have these industries created in order to provide the jobs. So I don't know what you heard.
Yeah, I heard everything.
Okay.
So basically, you're saying in order to solve this, solution is creating more jobs
More industries, yeah. So the
Industry.
industry, yeah.
But what happens if I told you that the reason why there's not more industries is to keep, that's what I'm trying to tell you, is that to keep a certain population of people higher than another population of people. They're not creating these jobs because they want more people to work. That's not what it is. They want higher up people to have these high paying jobs. So for example, statistically speaking, there is 72, I think 72 or 73% of white male men that are
Hmm.
CEOs. Just speaking from America's standpoint, I know we have people out there right now that are tuning in from all over the world, but I'm just speaking from America's standpoint that
Okay.
CEOs of the world, 72% of these CEOs of the United States of America are ran by white men. Okay, not to say that this is to go against any particular race. It's just statistics here. So that population of people that is running these companies that are CEOs, they want that population of people, that statistic, to stay about the same as it has for hundreds of years. It's statistically stayed that high for a reason. So if you create more jobs, or let's say more opportunities for more CEOs to be in these positions, then it's
Hmm.
going to wipe out, or it's going to decline or start to decrease that population of people being CEOs of these companies. Now, needless to say, it's only
I
72%
disagree with that. I
only.
disagree with that. I disagree with that only
So
because
I mean,
if you,
okay, it's
but
just like,
Kyle, don't you, if you have more industries, you will have more CEOs.
yes, but not the population of people that the system wants there in position. No. So, like, perfect example. Okay, I just gave you this statistic. There's 20 million Americans that have a master's degree, right?
Uh,
Believe it or not, statistically speaking, it's considered that black American women are considered the highest educated according to certificates and degrees in the United States of America.
okay.
But but they're also, statistically speaking, they're the least paid. They don't make near as much as other populations, and this is just the same color of people from, I don't know, all there's all different types of people, but it's just to say that black women are the least paid according to salaries in the United States. They're
Okay.
the least homeowners in the United States, okay? They're the least CEOs in the United
But
States, least business owners. But
okay.
yet and still, because this opportunity has been made available to everybody to get educated, no
Right.
no one has the inability to go to school and get educated. No one has that disadvantage, okay? Because look at me. I went to prison. I'm a black woman. I went through all of the things. I didn't come from a good financially stable family, and
Right.
here I'm getting a master's degree. But how the system is created is that even though that statistic went up, they still cannot own more businesses. They still cannot get paid very well. And that's to keep
But
them down, to keep them suppressed.
hold on, because when you look at countries like India,
Mhm.
Pakistan, and I hate to bring in foreign countries, but
Oh, no, please
in
do. Please.
Mexico. Okay, so um, what I'm trying to get at is education doesn't necessarily guarantee financial success because you have people that have studied to be doctors, dentists, and all that. You have, in fact, you have a lot of doctors coming over here and dentists coming over here to America to look for work because of the system. That's a whole nother topic in Canada. But what I'm saying is that you have skilled laborers, skilled people who do these different types of work or education. They're very educated, but because there's a lack of industry,
Mhm.
now they got to bring them over here to compete with people over here because in certain countries they may not have the industries to provide for their skill. And
Right.
so I think it goes back to industry again. I don't think it's
I
I
just,
don't
it wouldn't make sense to create industries that they're going to pay more of all types and population, all types or all populations of people. Um, it would it wouldn't be a strong system. It wouldn't make for an America being the strongest. When I say strongest, I mean judicially. So with the military system, it's considered to be the strongest. And when I
Okay.
say also when it comes to still yes, the dollar is starting to lose its power, but it still
Do you
is.
know why the dollar's losing its power?
Oh man, because of the whole thing with to be honest with you, I think it's because of the COVID-19 situation. I don't really know, honestly. I don't know that.
It's actually we rely on the petrodollar, and that's why we've been fighting. When you said earlier about the stealing thing, it's all about what the country, what resources they offer. So right now, the fight is to keep the petrodollar going, the oil.
Right.
And that's why there's war in Russia and Ukraine right now, because right now Putin is offering the cheapest amount of oil in the shortest amount of distance. And if you got people like Russia providing that for, they create a whole new dollar, and the petrodollar goes down because now they have to come down and compete, and they can't make it over to Europe. So that pretty much locks in. In fact, I wish I had the article. They say that they put sanctions on Russia, right? And since they put sanctions on Russia, Russia has made 80 billion dollars since these what they call rule breaker sanctions. And sanctions, you're not supposed to make money, you're supposed to lose money. They've actually gained money because they have dealt with countries that are not down with the damn sanctions, like China, Iran, and Turkey, and nations within the United Emirates, and they're still doing business. So money is still flowing, and somehow even more money flowing because now you have people who participated in the sanctions, and they're going around getting the oil from the countries that Russia's dealing with. So
Right.
again, if you have, they have a commodity that they're offering, like Russia. They, people always make fun of Russia, but Russia has an endless amount of petrol that Europe needs to warm their houses, to fuel their cars, this and that. So, but if we, what I'm saying, what I'm trying to get to, Wood Breaker, we had an industry producing cars. We had like, okay, you might be too young to remember this, but I mean, people love muscle cars, and they still do to this day. We produced that in Michigan. We had an industry. Now, even though now we live off gas, we don't live off coal. Coal was an industry. And what I'm saying, for each industry, you have a CEO. So I don't understand that how white men would be threatened when you have industries that would
Well,
actually.
I'm definitely not saying that. That's why I said I'm leaving other countries out of it because I'm not saying that.
But you can't though, because when you're dealing with economics, we're pulling a lot of people over here, and MD will tell you we have a migration crisis. Not only do we have a migration crisis here, but in other countries, we just did a show on damn, what's that country? MD, I forgot the damn Tunisia.
Tunisia, yeah, Tunisia.
Right. So it affects the rest of the world. Like what
Okay.
happens in other countries affect us directly, and so this is why it's all connected. It's all connected. I mean, you can't say,
Well,
"Well, I'm not going to deal with
I
this
think
country," when
well,
okay,
when it comes to dealing with money
uh
and
huh,
reform, just keeping those
right,
parallels in our vision. When it's
okay,
with these two things, okay, in particularly people of color, and that's all people of color, all different
hmm
countries, everywhere. Statistically speaking, there's higher rates of incarceration from
right,
Tunisia to Mexico to
right,
Africa to here to where oil is in Saudi Arabia, right? All
right,
of these countries still the prison reform targets specifically people of color, that population. Now, when it
hmm
comes to money, the reason why those particular people are being targeted is because there's this old saying is that you have chiefs and you have Indians. You can't have
right,
Indians without chiefs, and you can't have chiefs without Indians.
okay,
So What that being said is that population of people has to be there in order to fuel the economy. It has to be that way. It has to be that people of
So
color.
then why not bring the, yeah, but what I'm saying is that when you had people of color
Mhm.
like do it in the GM plants, you had less people going to prison because you got less people doing crime because they're too busy working in the factories
But you
making
make more
money.
money. You make more money off the prison system than you do the plant. It's $1 billion.
Okay, but no, I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is if so you're saying that the prison lobbyists are lobbying for people not to have industry here?
No, it's easier to lock someone up than to get someone to work a 9 to 5 job.
No, I understand that. But
Yeah,
what
it
I'm
gets you
saying is
more
that
money. So with that being said, is it's easier to lock someone up. It's easier for someone to go to the streets than it is for them to work a 9 to 5 job. It's easier for you to say, hey, I can make $500 with possibly the risk, possibly not, then I can make $500 that's going to take me 3, 4 days that I have to bust my butt to do it.
so are you
So,
saying that prisons are the ones that are preventing industries from being born here in America as far as like
of course, not just here in America, all of the world. Do we? I mean, I haven't looked it up, but I will the next time. Is that
that's fine.
we have to look? I'm just curious, and I mean, I'm only going off of statistics based on Google, which Google is ran by. I want to say, I don't know his name, but I know more from the Jewish background. So a lot of the information that we're learning or the resources of where we go to is based off of what we read and it's based off of what someone wrote. Okay. Or the information
Right.
supplied to us. So that's the only way that we have this thought process to be able to use or implement anything. So I'm just statistically going off of these different numbers and what's going on. And I'm just curious to see the population as a whole, worldly, of people of color that are incarcerated versus people that are not. Um, and it would just be, and it's also what people classify themselves as, in particularly because I think that's just another way of power and divide. Because if we looked at ourselves as not being a person of color, then logically speaking, we probably could do a lot better if we didn't put that in our mind, or that brainwashing that we're supposed to be part of a suppressed population of people. And that's why I'm in the position that I'm in right now. Um, just because I didn't go off of what was supposed to happen. I mean, I was standing before a judge with a nuclear medicine degree, and I still went to prison. So it doesn't really matter what you can provide to a system if you're part of that population of people that's not supposed to provide it, you know?
Yeah, but okay.
I
Ah,
mean, a nuclear medicine degree and you put someone in prison, I think you would make more money putting them, hey, don't do it again. Bad, bad. It was over money. I want you
right.
to work now. I want you to pay me back even more and work. But why would you put someone with a nuclear medicine degree that you're going to pay them 70 something $1,000 a year starting to put into the economy and pay back what they did? Why would you put them in prison? It goes
Okay, so let me
population of a person. It doesn't have anything to do at that point with money and in judicial. It has everything to do with that specific population of person that you have to put there to keep things going.
all right. I want to welcome MD. MD, this is Rule Breaker. Rule Breaker, this is MD. Um,
See?
I don't know.
Peace,
I think
peace,
he's
peace. What's
driving.
happening? No, no,
Okay.
no. I'm home now. Peace. What's up?
Okay. So it's two questions I want to ask you, MD, because I'm trying to visualize this, and I know you know your history thorough. The coal miner plant. So I got two questions for you. Let's start with the coal mining. That population, after they shut down, were more people getting locked up in that area?
Yeah, of course, because they ain't had no job.
Okay.
Yeah, of
So we
course.
okay, so we got that. So secondly, uh, Pontiac, Michigan, Detroit, the car industry. When they shut down that industry, did more people get locked up after that shutdown?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so Kaya, you got two major industries that shut down and the population increased because then people didn't have those industries. Like I said, those industries provide those jobs. I'm saying if you got more industries,
Mhm.
you have less crime. because a lot of those event nonviolent crimes
They're making more,
involve.
they're making more money by putting them in the prison system. So as MD said, that power plant shut down, prison rates went up, and people are
Because they weren't working.
yes, but that was a good thing though, because they didn't lose money. They weren't losing money. They weren't really quickly to open that plant back up, were they?
Yeah, but the people being locked up lost money, is what I'm saying. They
No.
lost their.
Yeah, the people that locked up lost money, but who cares about that population of people? We just care about the economy. And they didn't, the economy as a whole didn't lose money. They made money. We don't live in a world that cares about people here. Because if we lived in a world that cared about people, then this whole ball game would be different. My experience would be different. I wouldn't be sitting here talking about prison reform.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is that, okay, so the reason why they shut down the coal industry is because we moved to natural gas.
Mhm.
So that shut that down. That had nothing to do with, okay, there's more prisons. No, you had an industry that provided, like I said, it provided a resource, just like what I talked about Russia. Go ahead, MD.
No. I was just saying you're right. I actually didn't mean to do that, but yeah, you're right.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that,
I was playing with the dog. My bad.
oh, you good, MD. What I'm saying, Rule Breaker, is that the industry is the core problem of why these people now don't have an income. Now they have to look to crime, and now that opens the door
But
for the.
they're still not reopening. That's the thing, is that why is it that they're still locking people up, but they're not reopening and making these jobs available? Because they're not losing money. They're actually making money.
Well,
Is it that you just so happen they slipped upon making more money because they have more prisoners? Maybe. But I don't think
no. I think, okay, well, let's use the coal industry. No, they lost the coal. Those people lost their job because the coal industry died.
yes,
We went to natural gas. So
yes.
that killed that. Now,
Okay.
maybe MD can explain why the hell we got rid of goddamn GM Motors. Maybe you can explain that, MD, but by
Well,
that
well,
eliminate.
they outsourced it just like they do like a lot of stuff. I mean, but hey, that's capitalism at the end of the day. They found a cheaper way to produce. And with that being said, they said the hell with US production and outsourced. You know what I mean?
Right.
As a result, it affected a wide region of the United States. A very wide region. And so you have Michigan today. That's
Right.
dwindling. You know what I mean? As far as the economy. So I think when we talk about prison reform, we have to look at it from a more we got to look at it from industry, because industry is what's affecting the crime.
Right.
As a state, or even dealing with federal, but we'll just say state. As a state, it's cheaper for me to incarcerate, despite whether I'm looking at it from a reform sense or not, or from a
Right. So you and Rule Breaker are in agreement with that. And I agree with that too. Oh,
No,
go ahead. Oh,
no. What I'm going to
I'm saying as well is that it's cheaper to incarcerate someone than it would to give them a job.
no. That's I wasn't going to say that.
Okay.
What I was going to say is it's cheaper
Mhm.
to outsource. Like we're just talking about straight business. The same way it's cheaper to outsource the job from the private industry, it's cheaper to outsource the industry itself dealing with prison reform as it is with the state or the federal government dealing with that. These states get federal funding, or these states get state funding through federal allocation to provide to the private industry, which is the prison system. Roughly on average, it's around $150 per day to lodge these prisoners, right? If the state had to do that from a budget standpoint, it will break them. So what we have to understand is, why is the reason that so many people get incarcerated when it's not in actuality benefiting the government at all?
It is though. That's what I'm telling you. It is. It is. Like it's a billion-dollar industry. They're making way more money. We're just looking at it from a standpoint of housing. How much it costs to house, feed, take care of a prisoner. It's the same way as you give someone a job at the factory. You still, essentially, you still have to house them, feed them, provide for them. These grocery stores aren't free. Okay. Everything has a, everything has money. Okay. That runs it. Right. So yes, the housing costs $150, but we're not looking at how much they're making off of each prisoner for the day. If you, so speaking for me, perfect example, I use an actual personal experience is when I was in prison, I started off making 23 cents an hour. I was working 8 hours a day and I was working on a military base, cutting grass and cleaning toilets. Okay. Something that had they paid someone a maid service and added more jobs into the economy, they would have added that maid service. They would have paid her 15, 12 to $15 a day, but they wouldn't have had to house her or feed her, right? Wrong. They still have to house her, still have to feed her. Electricity still has to be provided. These grocery stores still have to provide food, and that costs money. But now the only difference is they're paying me 20 cents an hour and they're paying her 12 to $15 an hour. That's why they're actually making more money off of me than they would her. 23 cents an hour from $12 is a huge gap. A huge gap. It's like saying a snow cone. You sell a snow cone. I used to be in that business. You sell a snow cone for $2, but it only takes 25 cents to make it. You're making literally $175 net profit off of that snow cone. So it's a huge industry and they're making a lot of money from the prison system, a lot of money. It's a billion-dollar industry. So putting more jobs and opening the factory and paying these guys good money because it's a tough job, right? In our minds, they're actually technically losing. So their whole thing is, well, there's more people being incarcerated, but do we really care? Not really, because we're actually not losing any money. We're not going to reopen this factory to fuel the state of Michigan because technically we're actually not really losing any money. We might be breaking even, but we're not losing. So why would we take a population of people that initially we wanted to be there to make money? It just doubled. That's all it did. It didn't change much. And it
So
didn't.
so it's so is it more? I get what you're saying. So is it more or less about prison reform, or should it be more emphasis on crime reform?
I like the way you put that. Okay. Um, I personally think it should be prison reform with adding um like a breakthrough. So not necessarily we're focusing on the actual prison system and the suppression from that standpoint because it is what it is. It's brilliant. We're not going to infiltrate that. But how we can infiltrate it is that we start teaching people how to maneuver around certain situations. So yes, you might have not had this job at the factory, but now maybe go from this end of it and go to school for free off of a grant, get an associate's degree, make 40, $50,000, the same that you would at the factory. It might have took you a couple years, but now you're locked in. Now you can take that associate's degree and take it to many different places than just the factory. So it doesn't have to be that you lose money joining the school system. You can actually make a lot of money off the school system, but the government doesn't want people to know that because that certain population of people still has to be there because they make a lot of money off of that small population of people that are incarcerated.
So I guess my next question is, because you say free schooling,
Hmm.
uh,
They make it available to everybody, not just black, white, Mexican, Asian, Spanish, excuse me, Hispanic and Spanish. I mean, they make that available to everybody. Everyone has that opportunity to get that. It's just a little bit of time.
So I guess put a tax on everybody in order to make that happen, so we could
Oh,
pay the
that would be clever.
teachers, the school.
Yeah,
Huh?
that would be clever. But now you're talking. You got to be careful because whoever the
Well,
person is
that's the
that's
only
running,
way.
they're not going
But
to
there's
like
no,
that very.
but there's no such thing as free. Somebody has to be taxed. That's why when you said free, I said, okay, somebody's being taxed. That's
Well, they're
what
already
it
being
means.
taxed. They're already being taxed because grant money, a Pell Grant is still available up to $20,000. So, in a Pell Grant, you can go to school, a community college, and get an associate's degree off of a Pell Grant alone. You don't have to take out a loan. You don't have to get, excuse me, extra financial aid. You can literally get an associate's degree with Pell Grant. I've been somewhat my own mentor within certain friendships and communities, and I've helped people get Pell Grants and get associate's degrees that I've known do it. So
And is this across every state, or is each state different? Like say
no,
$20,000.
Pell Grant
That's
is federal.
federal.
It's
Okay,
federal.
federal. Okay. So you're saying that in every state people can make it through with $20,000.
Yeah, and they'll get and you get an extra 3 grand a year. Now it's not a lot, but it's an
Now, what
extra
is
three.
that for? What is that
That's
for? Is that
book,
just based
books, supplies.
books?
It
Okay.
wouldn't cover food and whatnot. They'd still have to work. I mean, nothing's for free. We still have to work. You
Yeah,
know.
I know that, right? Because most places, if you man, it's harder on students because you can't get certain helps from the government. So whatever they give you, you got to budget that and survive on
Right.
that totally.
You can't get food stamps. You can't
No,
get
you can't. Mm-mm.
extra. You have to budget that. Have I done it? That's what I'm doing right now. I live off of $250 so a week, but I'm
Right,
making
but
it.
you're right. But what I'm saying, like, okay, you're in Louisiana. It
Mhm.
would be different from a person that's in New York, Chicago,
Right.
or LA.
Correct.
So, you
So,
know,
logically, they're supposed to provide you a little bit more with the Pell Grant based off of the area or the location that you're at, and it's a
okay,
set.
so they adjusted according
Yeah,
to your demographic.
they adjust it according to your demographic,
Okay.
and that is another argument that people have. But you have to think too is they will provide you enough money for your school, your books, and your supplies. The Pell Grant will cover that across the board. Doesn't matter where you're at. Now your cost of living, they might not supply that, but that means you just have to go to work. Now, the catch to this is that you go to school for free. You have to work for 2 years and you have to do it for 2 years. Now, yes, that sounds hard, but after that, statistically speaking, on average, a person with an associate's degree actually technically makes more money than a person with a bachelor's that will have debt, guaranteed debt. But a person with an associate's degree literally can make on average $38,000 a year locked in. And you can get an associate's in science, so it's across the board. Now you can be a science teacher, you can go and do phlebotomy, you can do all these different things. So I mean, if you start early, that's why I want to work on young adults 17 to 25 years old. If you start them early enough, they've locked themselves in debt free, making $38,000 a year as long as they work. It makes sense. I mean, you're keeping them out of the prison systems.
But again, even with these associate degrees, rule breaker,
Mhm.
there has to be the industries for them to have the jobs because I know people here in Atlanta who have degrees,
Mhm.
but you look around, there's nothing but McDonald's, Burger King, and those are all filled by people already
Right,
because Atlanta has a high migration rate.
right.
And so, again, I still make the argument that there still need to be industries, even for the people with the associates, with the masters and the PhDs. You still need an industry to feed these people in order to employ them. You still need it. There's no way around the industry. There's no way around it unless everybody get degrees and work in the prison system, which
But
was like, you know,
I mean, I think honestly, I feel like there can always be kind of a contrary to everything. And I wish I could get that far into it. I'm just researching and looking up things myself and doing things myself. But all in all, I feel like adding more industries, but not really giving the resources on how to make money,
But the industries,
then it's.
which
I mean, you can add more jobs, but then the system's losing more money because they're paying out more.
I, but if the industries are providing a resource,
Hmm.
doesn't that pay for itself? Like if I don't know,
It depends on the consumer. It depends on the buying and selling ratios. I mean,
it don't necessarily have to be consumers. It could be.
just because you add more McDonald's doesn't mean that more people are going to
I'm
buy
not.
McDonald's.
It don't have to necessarily be McDonald's. It could be I don't know, a steel
Engineering, petrol.
plant.
Yeah, more plants. We're pushing out more gas doesn't mean more people are going to buy gas.
Well, if you're providing the well, apparently the prisons need gas. They need steel.
But
They need.
still think they're doing. I still think that they're, um, hmm,
What I'm saying is that if there's a commodity, that commodity brings revenue.
hmm,
So
has to be a reason
the
why these. It has to be why more industries aren't being built, but it
well,
has to
according to MD, they're outsourced because they
be built.
well, according to MD, they were outsourced because they want cheaper labor.
Okay.
So your GM plants and I don't know whatever plants we had here in America are now being sent to China, Pakistan, India for cheaper labor. Okay, we get capitalism. Okay, we get it. What I'm saying is that if there's no industry, there's not going to be nothing left but to get degree in working in a prison, basically being a whatever is going to be related to prison industry if we don't have no industry. Without the industry, we need. Oh God, it's the industry provides, like I said, the commodity. The commodity brings about the resources. Case in point, like I said, the oil it fuels Russia. I've heard people make fun of Russia saying, "Oh, it's not a country; it's a big gas station." Yeah, but it's something that people need, and they've made $80 billion since they've been. So I mean, what I'm saying is that if you have it all comes back down to industry, unless, like I said, everybody's going to school and getting degrees to work at a prison.
Right. Mm,
Because I mean, yeah, I get the McDonald's and all that stuff, but I mean, okay, they provide fast food, but or you working at a grocery store, but like there has to be more than just McDonald's. There more than just grocery stores. There has to be.
I'm just using McDonald's as just like a baseline of
No, I
all.
understand that, right?
More. I'm just saying, McDonald's because McDonald's is a very successful. uh,
Yeah, I get that, right? I mean, it's the food
rooster.
industry, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's the food industry. Yeah, got to eat. But what I'm saying is that if there's not more industries, rule breaker, and there's nothing out here but prisons and McDonald's, that means you're going to have to get a degree in something relating to either McDonald's or prison.
Right.
Now, do you see the importance of industry? No
Yeah, I
industry,
do.
then that means whatever master's degree, PhD, whatever you get is going to be has something involving prison. So
Right.
we need more industry. So we have more of a variety range. It's going to be if we don't get more industries, we're going to have food places and prisons. So we're going to go to school and be educated either on food places or prisons. Get your college degree either food places or prisons. So you're going to have people working in prison or people being in prison. That's what it's going to come down to without any new industries that create new jobs. And if you say, okay, well, these people, they only want this and we only want prisons, we don't want another industry, that means, well, there's going to be prisoners and people that look after prisoners. That's what it's going to be. It's going to turn into United States being a penal colony where you either work for the prison or you're in the prison. Escape from New York. I don't even see that movie, or Escape from LA. That's what it's going to be. This is the importance of industries. The
Right.
importance of industries, and so we have varieties of numerous jobs where we can get degrees and decide, oh, I want to do A, B, and C instead of it just being choice A, prison or McDonald's, prison or McDonald's. That's yeah. Without industries, yeah, that's going to be a dark future right there.
Right.
That's
Right.
going to be a dark country.
Well, it is. It's still. It is a dark
So
country
we
because
have to
prison
push.
reform is not happening. So we've had I mean, we've been trying to work on prison reform for I want to say just to ban the box. That's been over the last
Right,
8 years.
right.
And now we're only in 23 states that bans the box. We still got a whole 27 to go here.
Which is a good push. I agree with ban the box. Yeah, I
It's a good
agree.
good push, but at the
Yeah,
same time, over 20 something years, like, I mean, it's never too late, right? It's never too late.
right.
But I
No,
feel
no.
like there has to be some other route that we can go or take to, you know, I don't know.
Well, I think also you should give like, well, I don't know if it'll make it unfair, but I was thinking, well, yeah, ban the box definitely, absolutely ban the box, and I think that would eliminate, but that still doesn't eliminate the competition as far as like the ratio to jobs to people. Again, if you got more people than jobs, everybody is trying to rush to that job, and that means being the owner of that job, all these people, well, who's going to take the lowest wage since y'all want this job so bad?
Right.
And that's why, again, we have outsourced jobs going to India and China because basically they found cheaper labor. So, oh man, but if we have I mean, them outsourcing jobbing, that's a whole, I guess that's a whole another discussion. But again, I think if the more, okay, so I just got a information here. It says the industry, let me read this. The industries are there. The problem is job training for the skills for the industry. Most training facilities are not accessible to people without transportation. That is a good point. Damn, that is a very good point. Um, but we can build. I guess we got to build transportation jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you got like MARTA here in Atlanta. I mean, yeah, that's a very good point. I gotta let me type this in the chat because and I'll put it on the screen for you, Kai. Maybe you can respond to this. Did you hear what I read? The industries are there. The problem is job training for the skills for the industry. Most training facilities are not accessible to people without transportation.
In the comments, oh, keep comments here. I don't
Industries.
see.
Yeah, I haven't put it up yet. Industries are there. And I'm misspelling everything, but problem. Problem. The problem is job training. Job training for skills for the in in the industry Yeah, let me see if I got a spell check on this because I'm like jacking up the damn spelling. Yep, we got a spell check. Okay, so industry. Most training facility facilities are not accessible to people without transportation. Okay, so let me I misspelled that too. Let me boom. Okay, I think I got spelling and let me post this. Okay, so here's the comment.
Okay. Let's see. Uh, okay, the industries are there. The problem is job training for the skills for the industry. Most training facilities are not accessible to people without transportation. Yes, I agree. But I also feel like you can't train someone that doesn't even know how to communicate what you're teaching them.
But how do you explain again the people from like India and Pakistan and
It affects them statistically. In my field of what I've been taught and what I've been learning,
Mhm,
accent modification is a thing. Now, people get offended when you say accent modification, but
mhm.
who cares, when it's based off of a big, standardized language or typical language being used here. So just like
Okay.
we're communicating right now, this is the standardized typical language that we're using. So it's accepted. But when it comes to, like I said, accent modification from the last show that I came and attended to, is a huge deal. And so, therefore, they just pay them less because they cannot train them in the skills for higher up positions and jobs. So, if they could train them, and because if they did have communication like you and I do, then you could train someone higher up for these, higher levels of jobs and whatnot in these industries. But without being able, it's not just transportation. Um, because companies can provide transportation. They can provide
But
transport.
doesn't that but doesn't that cost too? I mean, yeah, you're right. Some companies do provide transportation. I've seen it in the construction field. I've seen it also in. I've seen it. I've seen it. But that's a cost too, also, isn't it?
It is, but it is, and that's why they're not providing it to people that can't communicate. So I think it's big. It's a big. So like we learned this thing in my rotations is that you can have a client that has 50 million things wrong with them. They can't say their L's, their R's, their T's, their P's, their B's. You have to start from somewhere. And
Right.
what one of my supervisors always told me is that sometimes you have to start, there's bigger fish to fry. Okay. So maybe L's and R's might not sound that good, but it's not going to hinder them that much from saying slide to swide, right? So you might can kind of decipher, do you mean you're going to go on the swide or you're going to go on the slide? But then if they're saying something like with P's and B's, right? And you say pumpkin and bumpkin, now those are two totally different sounds. So I'm going to go and I'm going to try to focus on the P's and the B's versus the L's. You get what I'm saying?
I
So,
hear what you're saying, but you're saying that okay, the
so what I'm
industry.
basically saying with this industry is that I'm going to tackle, first off, can these people even learn the skills? I mean, we're teaching them and we're giving them the training, but they can't even decipher through a video. If I gave them a short pop quiz with 5 questions and have them literally watch a video that's a 10-minute video, half of those people in the room probably couldn't answer the questions right. So, I mean, it's a little bit bigger fish to fry than just transportation and them getting there. If if you can't answer the questions to run this piece of equipment and press this button and that button, and you can't even remember how to do that, then I'm not really worried about you getting here. So, there's just bigger fish to fry, I think, um, with this statement. Um, you know, the industries are there. The problem is job training for the skills for the industry. I don't think it's the job training that's the problem. I think it's the people that are learning the skills. That's the problem. And in order to learn these skills, you have to teach them how to learn them. And the most training, that most training facilities are not accessible to people without transportation. Um, I think there's bigger fish to fry than just worrying about the transportation.
Hmm. Okay, well, Rebecca, we've tackled one aspect. I want to. What's your schedule look like? Because I do want to tackle this. I want to tackle this child support thing with
Okay.
incarceration because, um, like you've talked about too. I don't want to do it on this show, but I do want to. I want to make this a separate show. You talked about how you did labor within the prison system, right? Because I've done it too,
Right.
and I've seen, and they still do it to this day, where they clean football stadiums, they do landscaping in a whole city. They do this, and they're taking jobs away from people on that city who could be used those jobs.
Right.
And you're right, the prison industry is
Money.
making money off of it. But however, what I want to touch on is the child support aspect, meaning a lot of people get incarcerated and go to prison over child support.
Yes.
And so a lot of these in Georgia, this is just Georgia. I don't know, I can't speak for any other state. A lot of these inmates do jobs and they pay them like $2 an hour. And I'm like, a lot of that money should go towards their families if they're locked up for child support. That's just.
Um,
I got some pushback from that, but I think, yeah,
I'm
it just. Oh, go ahead. Okay, y'all. So yeah. Okay.
I'm sit to the left there a little bit, or you can sit on the bed. Okay. Okay.
Okay, no
So
problem.
I had
You
a
good, you good.
company come.
Okay,
Okay.
no problem, no problem. Well, like I said, we've been on for 2 hours, but like I said, I want to try to get you on here.
Uh,
I know,
open, opening an opener to the next show.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I actually, when it comes to child support, I know a little bit about it. I want to
Hmm.
do more research on it, but
Okay,
I think it's totally unfair. Um, that once again, now we're talking about a population of male and female.
okay,
Statistically speaking, because a lot of the people, not just saying only males are being incarcerated for not paying child support, but
right.
higher statistics of males are being
Hmm.
incarcerated for child support.
Okay,
And that's because it's targeting a certain population, once again, of people. This is
right.
not now dealing with race, this is now dealing with sexism. And
Okay,
so I think it's totally unfair, especially when there's a lot of fathers that are fit and they work. And maybe just because you put a price on how much they're supposed to provide to their child, that they are punished and put into the prison. And then they can't even provide for their children at all now at this
right,
point.
right. It's a cycle, right?
Now
So,
they're spending it on the system, right? So now they're making money off of you, and these children aren't making money off of you at all. Um,
right. So I know I want to concentrate on the reform for that because I believe there is a answer to that we can solve because a lot of people say, oh, okay, well, you owe for child support. Now we're going to lock you up because you ain't paid. And now you're deeper in debt. And there's got to be a way to fix that.
right.
There's got to be a way to fix that. And um, again, that involves providing a job, but we'll deal with that. Like I say, I want to give you time to research that. I'm gonna do my due diligence on that, and I'm gonna see if we can tackle that. You know what I'm saying?
Good. I look forward to that.
And like I said, what we'll do whenever you get time, we'll tackle different aspects of it because it's multifaceted. It's just not one dimensional. There's many aspects of prison reform, and there's so many directions we can go in this thing. Like I said, there's so many directions. But like I said, tonight we had tackled, you know, I guess tonight what would be what you consider like educational reform or because you touched on education and you touched on mental illness, and
Yeah.
those two right there, we could build off just those two topics involving that. Like I said, we could deal with child support, we could deal with what other aspects, mental health,
Yeah, you can do.
industry
I mean,
jobs. I mean,
even
there's so many. Yeah,
even going further with it, I mean, it's sexism at its finest, and we're so used. Society's so used to pointing the finger at the male dominant or the dominant society as being in the wrong. But I think in this situation, it's almost like wow, it's the roles reversed, and so now you're punishing more of the male or the dominant, species over who's supposed to pay and who's not supposed to pay or take care of a child. When I think, I've met great fathers that, they spend their money how they spend it, just like the mom spends it the way she spends it, but they still take
hmm
care of their children and provide them with the necessities that you're going to provide, not being in a a two parent home, right?
okay, right.
Um, but they're still punished for it, and the mother is not, and the mother may not be supplying or providing for their child as much as that father is. And so there is a lot of mental issues that can go with that, mental health issues, because now it's like, wow, I have all this pressure on me to do this, but I thought I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Right. And
Right.
say, why can't you have a little bit of fun? Why can't you have a shirt to yourself, just like that mom has a shirt to herself? If not, even sometimes in some cases, more than what the father's providing more
Yeah,
than
but don't they usually go based on your income? And if you don't have an income, they usually give like
do. And see, and that goes, based on the wife stayed at home and the man worked, but at the same time, it still doesn't, to me, make it right that you lock up an individual because you feel like they should supply more money because they make more money because they're working harder. I don't really understand that concept. We all
right.
have the ability. We all have the ability, like I said, to work harder. We all have that opportunity, regardless of the race, sex, creed. Um, and
Well, see,
so,
that's why this show is important because if we could come up with solutions, then these solutions can turn into proposals.
well, I would love to do some
Because
research and come up with a solution there, and get back with you um,
okay,
on that. So I think maybe I don't know, probably around the same time next Friday would
next
work.
Friday, you
Um,
sure?
Next Friday, possibly, or the Friday after, because I'm
Well,
in.
just do it. Yeah, just do it according to your schedule. Don't try to. I mean, this is YouTube. We
Okay,
don't get paid for this. So,
okay,
like I said, I will work around your schedule. So whenever you're available, don't. It's just YouTube. Don't don't
sounds
don't make it a. Yeah, don't. Yeah, yeah. It's not. YouTube is not that serious.
good. Right.
It's just something
I, I love being able to talk and see people's different,
Right,
views.
right. I do too. Yeah, I like it too. I
So
mean,
I
and
look
for
forward
me, it's an opportunity to see you, see Nature Mom. You know what I'm
to it.
saying? See
Great.
some family
Yes.
members. Yeah,
Yes.
maybe. Yeah, maybe we can get D Nice on here. I don't know.
Oh man, that would be an interesting one there. Yeah, that
Right.
would be
Maybe
good.
I could.
That would be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. But like I said, it just it's like I said. Don't when your real life comes first,
Yep.
rule breaker. So don't break your back or break your neck to try to make a
Right.
show happen. It's not. Yeah. It's a hobby. But like I said, I enjoy talking to family members, you know what I'm
Sounds
saying? And
good. Sounds
just
good.
yeah, so yeah. But like I said, like I said, just do it at your convenience.
Okay.
And I'll be here. I will set aside every Friday for you when you can do it.
Okay.
When you can do it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Sounds good. Sounds good.
so So this is a good time around. I guess it's 8 o'clock your time, right?
Yeah, so it was from 6:30 to 8. Yeah, it would be good.
6:38. Okay.
6:38. But
Okay.
definitely, I will message you the exact date. Let me just kind of look at some things in the
That's
schedule.
fine. That's
I'll definitely
fine.
get with you.
Okay. Well, like I said,
So much
I'm
for
working around.
inviting me.
Huh?
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh yeah, like I said, well, we can, like I said, as many times as you like to do a show, we can do it because, like I said, there's so many aspects that we can tackle. Like I said, I want to maybe we could do a whole show just on mental health because
Cool.
that's a big thing in prison. And
Huge.
then tackle, like I said, it's so many as like I said, the child support thing is a big one because a lot of people are locked up because of child support. And it's like, damn, well, if you lock them up, but we could discuss that further. So, like I said, it's so many things we can tackle. But like I said, just like I said, I know you're going to school, but make it to where it's convenient for you. Don't break your neck doing this. It's not, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Now if we were getting paid money, that'd be different. But I'm like the yeah, that'd be different. But we're not making money off this, so yeah, it's like
Okay.
yeah, it's just a hobby.
Okay, cool.
Hmm.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure. Until
All
next
right, all right, and say hello to the family. Say
time.
hello to
Yes.
the family
Yes.
for me. Yeah, and I see. Is that who I think it is? Is you, your sister, and your cousin?
No, actually,
Look like yeah, I saw.
yeah, that's actually, yep, this is actually both my sisters. So that's my big sister and my little sister on my father's side.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, okay, okay.
Yep,
Cool, cool. All right,
I will.
all right.
I definitely will. And I'll be sending you an invitation to the graduation party it'll be in New Jersey at an old train station. Yep.
Okay, send it to me now so I can make arrangements
Yes,
because
May
yeah,
17th.
yeah, 'cause
May 17th.
we we got okay. I'm gonna put that down because we got family members that want to send the last minute like, oh, but we were having this. It's like
No, 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 no. I had plans on at least getting it a month in advance so people can
that's what I'm talking about.
have
Yeah, give people a chance to yeah.
exactly.
Okay,
And then you can visit New York. It's like 20 minutes from New Jersey. So maybe come for the weekend and you can also go to New York and whatnot with your significant other. So that would be fun.
well, like I said, I love New York, so yeah, yeah, I have no problem going back to New York. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, just give me heads up. That's all. Give me
Def-
heads up so I can make plans because I don't like doing the buddy pass.
okay.
I don't like doing that because last time I've been on the plane, I've seen how they do it in buddy pass. It was a damn flight attendant. And he was like, he didn't even say nothing. He was just like, there's a lady right next to me. I guess she had a buddy pass. He just walked up to her. He was like, she was like, oh God. I was like, damn. He didn't say a word. He just
Yeah.
was like, damn. And she had to get up. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I felt bad. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing about people getting stuck. I heard D
Yeah.
Nice got stuck in Puerto Rico. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get in that situation. So
Yeah.
I know how a lot of our family members travel. Like some don't travel like that. I gotta know where I'm going and I gotta get there because if
I
I
agree.
don't get there, I get frustrated. No,
I,
I can't do
I
that.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I definitely will send it in advance, and we'll have a
Okay.
good time. I'll be launching my website for I am
Okay.
1%. It's iam1%.org. Um,
Okay.
and it's just basically it's a organization that will be helping young adults 17 to 25. It's a
Okay.
life skills and communication center, and so it's nonprofit. I want people to be able to come and know how to social network, as well as I'll do articulation drills. I'll do coffee, free food, just a place where young people can go, feel safe, and also get the resources they need to do certain things. And hey, if they want to be hustlers, then make sure they're the best ones at it, right? So at least learn how to manage your money and finances and get these things for free. So this will be a no judgment zone, and so it's called an I am 1% center. And hopefully, when I graduate, I can start getting it off the ground, just like a Boys
Okay.
club or a YMCA, but it'll be free to
Okay.
suppress.
Well, you always got the arena to come to and
Thank you.
promote. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you always get. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I want to see, how can I put it in the chat? It's called iam1%.org. And people can go
Okay.
there. I'm working on it now. People can go to the website and
Is it 1% spelled out, or can you
everything.
type in the chat? Are you on a laptop or are you on a phone?
I'm on a laptop, but I don't see where I can type. It's all one word. iam1%.org.
Hold on.
I sent it in a private chat.
Oh, okay. Hold on. You sent a private chat. Cool. Okay. I'm gonna have to start. Okay. So let me.
And it's all one word. I am
Yeah, I
1%.
see that. Yep. Okay. Let me copy and paste it and put that in the thing. So boom.
I'm working on, like I said, I'm still working on it. So the launch hasn't started yet, but there are some things to explore, to take a look at, kind of to give the basis of what I'll be doing.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Yep.
Let me see if I
Looks
can
good.
blow it up. Okay. Okay. So that'll have that. Let me see if I could make it a little bit bigger. And next time I'll send you the headlines too. You can put that in your headliner. I don't know when you signed
That'd be
in, did
great.
they have like a yeah. I'm like, let me see. Hold on.
Yeah, the next time I'll put it there on the headliner.
Yeah, just type it in the headliner so that way it'll be there. Every time you come in, it'll just be there. So next time just type it there and it should be permanent. And then whenever
Okay.
like I said, like you see how your name's there, it'll be
Yep.
right below it. Yeah,
Oh,
it'll be
that'd
right
be
below
great.
it next time. Mhm.
Yeah, I would love to, like I said, man, it would be, before I die, I would love to have these centers everywhere, like a Boys and Girls Club, but I am 1% centers. Just because
Okay.
we are all technically 1% in something that we do, right? But we all are
Right.
100. So that's the basis of that. Let's get it going.
Okay, cool. I'm trying these different. Which one is bigger?
That-
Okay, I guess that's the bigger. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it up there.
All right.
And yeah, all right, Rule Breaker. So yeah, like I said, if you want to do it next Friday, it's up to you. Like I said,
Okay.
whatever your schedule allows, let me know, and
Okay.
I will set it up, and yeah, we'll roll with it. You know what I'm saying?
All
So
right.
yeah, I like this time. This is a good timing for me because I'm already home and settled in. So yeah, like I said, but I want to make sure you settled in too, so everything goes smooth. And
Okay.
your mic is excellent because yeah, your auntie, boy, woo, she
Yeah.
does several shows and she be like,
Yeah.
like, oh, come on, but shout out to Nature Mom,
Shout out to Nature Mom.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
I'm going to head out and get some dinner.
Ooh, me too. I'm out. We
Yes.
out, y'all. Peace.
Nice. Peace.
Peace, y'all. All right, y'all. That was Rule Breaker. So hopefully she'll be joining us again real soon. If her schedule allows, we will we'll set aside Friday for her. And we'll touch more on the prison forum. So without y'all, we out. Peace. The Arena of